In the late 1800s, the U.S. government created boarding schools for Native American children. They believed Native people needed to be civilized and made like European Americans. The goal was to make Native American children forget their culture. Many schools had a strict policy: kill the Indian, save the man. That meant taking away their language, clothes, and traditions. While other Native American parents watched helplessly as their children were taken to boarding schools, one mother made a daring choice. Pipe woman, born in 1857 to person who has the horse and good chasing, refused to let her children become a part of America's forced assimilation. Pipe woman took her children across the northern border into Canada. This brave decision meant leaving her homeland behind in Montana, but it meant saving her children from trauma that thousands of Native American children faced in American boarding schools. Children were neglected and beaten as their main form of punishment. They had their mouths washed out with soap for speaking their language. Children were fed cheap foods like porridge, powdered milk, hardtack biscuits, and odd pieces of fruit. Barely enough food to stay healthy or nourished. Every child has the right to speak their own language, follow their traditions, and stay with their family. Native American boarding schools took away those rights. Students were forced to follow strict rules, change their names, and stop practicing their culture. Today, it is our responsibility to learn about what happened and to understand its impact. Schools and communities should teach this history so it's not forgotten. It is also important to remember all of those people we have lost. Life in these schools were harsh. Children were given new names, punished for speaking their language, and forced to do hard labor. Many were mistreated and suffered from hunger and loneliness. In a letter dated July 23, 1917, Carlisle Institution Superintendent wrote to Nettie Racine in Browning, Montana. Her son was a student at the school, and this letter read, "It is to inform you that your son Henry has deserted, and we have not heard of his whereabouts. This letter goes on to say that they have sent an outing agent to look for him, and if we found him, that we would contact home. This is one of the many times leaving the Carlisle school. This shows that the students wanted to leave and they were not happy in this harsh environment." In 1879, the Carlisle Indian Boarding School was the first of many schools that were set up by the government. The people who ran the schools believed that Native American children should live and act like white people. This idea was to make them forget their languages, culture, and traditions. Richard Henry Pratt, the man behind it all. Richard Henry Pratt was a soldier in the American Civil War and later fought in the armed forces conflicts against the Native Americans on the Great Plains. In 1879, Pratt founded the Carlisle Indian Industrial School in Pennsylvania, the first Native American boarding school in the United States.
I formally apologize as President of the United States of America for what we did. I formally apologize. It's long overdue.
Overdue by more than half a century, the Federal Indian Boarding School.
With President Joe Biden's apology, it shows that we are taking steps forward to forget but never to forget. It is now America's responsibility to help overcome this time in history. On September 19th, 2024, the remains of 3 children from the Fort Belknap Indian community were returned home for their burial in their tribal lands after more than a century. As the cars and trucks all passed by, all I could feel was happiness. "They're coming home," my sister said. As everyone came and the honking and cheering and the orange ribbons on the car, you almost felt overwhelmed in a good way. It was a good feeling when I remembered the story of the boarding school children and that they can finally be at peace and they're going to be home and that they're safe. So when I experienced that moment and I knew what was happening, I felt warm inside knowing that they were going home and they were going to rest in peace. When I first heard what was going to be happening, I could not wait to see the truck that were carrying the children. I wanted to feel some kind of connection towards the kids. Native American children had the right to speak their language, practice their traditions, and stay with their families. But those rights were taken away in the boarding schools. Instead of being protected, their cultures were punished, and their voices were silenced. Today, we have the responsibility to learn from this history. It's our job to speak up, respect the rights of all people, and make sure something like this never happens again by remembering what happened. We honor those who suffered and help create a better, fairer future for everyone. From her birth in Montana's Free Plains to her marriage to William Russell in 1875, and finally to her protective escape to Canada. Pipe Woman's story isn't just about survival. It's about a mother's fierce determination to choose her own children's path when all choices were difficult ones. Pipe Woman, my great-great-grandmother, was a fighter and would do anything for her children not to experience the trauma and shame that many families would feel for generations to come.